Split hits you with a visual gut punch right from the start. The morning light catches the limestone of Diocletian's palace, turning what was once a Roman emperor's retirement home into something that looks like it was built by the gods rather than men. Today we'll explore a city that refuses to be a museum piece despite its UNESCO status. Split doesn't just preserve its history behind glass. It lives in it, and adapts to it, and sometimes even spills coffee on it. The result is one of the most authentically alive ancient cities you'll ever visit. I'm up early to catch our sail in, while Lemar enjoys the luxury of sleep. Some travel moments are worth sacrificing rest for, and watching Split materialize from the morning sun is definitely one of them. This Croatian coastal gem sits at that perfect intersection of history and hedonism, a place where 1700-year-old Roman walls house cocktail bars, where fishermen sell their catch in the shadow of ancient temples, and where the Mediterranean sunbakes everything to a perfect golden hue. Before we disembark, we stopped in at the International Cafe for a quick pit stop of caffeine and calories, the fuel for proper exploration. Lemar and I grabbed coffees to go, a traveller's best friend, facing a day of wandering. Disembarking Majestic, we follow the curve of the harbour towards the main town. Split's waterfront unfolds before us, a perfect collision of working port and postcard-worthy promenade. Fishing boats bob alongside luxury yachts, locals hurry to work past tourists, moving at vacation pace. And the morning sun already hints at the heat to come. Walk into town offers that perfect transition from ship to shore, a floating resort to ancient city. It's a chance to reset expectations, to shift from the carefully controlled environment of the cruise ship to the beautiful chaos of living in a Croatian city. We're barely into town when the shopping begins. Lemar's radar for local goods is uncannily accurate. A tote bag and necklace later, we're ready to dive deeper into Split's history. The entrance into Diocletian's palace comes from not above, but below. We turn right away from the harbour into the cool darkness of the substructures, a welcome relief from the climbing temperatures outside. These underground chambers once elevated the Emperor's living quarters and now serve as an atmospheric introduction to the ancient complex. Emerging from the darkness from under the vestibule of the palace into that iconic space that you've seen in countless films and travel shows is like stepping through a time portal. The sudden shift from confined underground space to open sky creates this theatrical reveal that Diocletian himself would have appreciated. The Romans really understood dramatic architecture, long before Hollywood existed.
Yeah, perfect.
Split's old town is a warren of limestone lanes where medieval buildings lean against Roman walls. The narrow passages offer occasional shade, but constant discovery. A tiny bar tucked into what might have been a guard post centuries ago. A boutique showcasing local designers in a space that once housed nobility. A barber shop where the chair sits on stones worn by millions of footsteps. What makes Split remarkable isn't just its preservation, but its adaptation. This isn't a city that treats its history with something fragile and untouchable. It's a place that incorporates the past into its daily life with a casual confidence that comes from living with antiquity for generations. We emerge from the labyrinth of lanes into the People's Square, where the Croatian sun makes the buildings shine with that particular colour that only appears under the perfect Mediterranean blue sky. It's not quite white, it's not quite gold, it's the colour of centuries of sun on limestone, impossible to replicate and instantly recognisable. The square buzzes with the perfect mix of locals and visitors. Cafes spill out onto the pavement, conversations in multiple languages create a pleasant harmony, and the architecture provides a masterclass in Venetian influence on Dalmatian design. Among the tourist shops, we find a rare gem, a place that's actually thoughtfully designed and reflects its coastal location. It's the kind of shop that reminds you why browsing still matters in the age of online shopping. Some experiences can't be replicated on screen.
These guys out here are setting up for the protector of the town.
Not get to see it, but next week there's going to be a ton of festivities in Split. And here we are, following a Lemar in the wild, on his way to his fish market. Oh, that's cute. What a lovely little spot. Sniffing his nose out.
Following our noses, literally, we stumble across Split's fish market, where the morning's catch is displayed with the casual pride of people who know their product is exceptional. Massive flathead fish stare up at us from beds of ice, their size suggesting the health of the local waters. There's an honesty about a good fish market. It connects you directly to the environment around you, the skills and the knowledge of the people who harvest from it, and to the culinary traditions that have developed to make the most of what the sea provides. If we were staying overnight, I would absolutely grab one of these beauties to cook over an open fire. Some of the best travel meals come from the simplest of local ingredients prepared with minimal fuss. Just fresh fish, fire, olive oil, and maybe a squeeze of lemon. But today we're shipbound by evening, so this particular culinary adventure will have to wait for another visit. Wandering on, we discover Republic Square, a richly coloured terracotta space lined with cafes and exquisite views down to the harbour. The square feels like Split's living room, a public space that's designed for the art of lingering, for watching the world go by, nursing a coffee or a glass of local wine.
Also, I love coming into the back streets where there's those people, because it's just, you get a real sense of how the locals go about their day.
By this point, the Croatian sun is doing what it does best, turning tourists into puddles. Just as Lemar and I are silently calculating how much we'd pay for something cold and caffeinated, a Brazilian coffee shop materializes before us like a mirage. There's a joy in finding exactly what you want when you need it whilst traveling. It creates a disproportionate sense of victory, as though the universe has momentarily aligned itself with your desires. In this case, the desire is a simple iced coffee on a hot day. Iced coffees in hand, we continued our wandering and found ourselves at the external walls of the city, where Lemar feels compelled to really lean into the ancient stonework, presumably to absorb 1700 years of history through osmosis. The stones do seem to radiate stories if you press your ear up against them, though the stories might just be the sun affecting your brain. Before long, we're strolling down Marmontova Street, Split's main shopping artery, where the cup fountain provides a perfect photo opportunity. Some travel moments you capture because they're breathtaking, others you capture because they're culturally significant, and some, like walking under a giant cup of pouring water, simply because they're there and it would be a shame to miss. The street itself showcases Split's architectural evolution. Roman foundations supporting medieval additions with Renaissance flourishes and modern signage. It's like a vertical timeline you can read if you know what to look for. Approaching the waterfront delivers two simultaneous impressions. First, the Majestic Princess appears back in view, looking well majestic as ever against the blue backdrop of the Adriatic. The second, we're greeted by that distinctive sewage stench that sometimes accompanies beautiful old cities on hot days.
Very much worth sailing on if you get it. The crew have been amazing. Food has been spectacular. Company,
Having moved on from the olfactory challenge, hunger begins to make itself known. We find Nobna Fratelli, a spot with a harbour view, and settle in for a proper Croatian meal. There's a real enjoyment to savouring a traditional charcuterie board in this setting, the local cured meats and the cheeses offering a taste of the surrounding countryside, whilst we gaze out at the Adriatic. Nobna Fratelli offers that perfect travel combination: good food, good view, and good advice. Our waiter, seeing our cameras and obvious tourist status, offers up a local tip that no guidebook cookbook mentioned.
What's the cheese? Oh, lovely. Very nice. Oh, naan. Oh, their version of naan. Yeah. This is well deserved after hours of exploration around Split. We found ourselves a little restaurant just a little bit back from the shoreline, but close enough to see Majestic just bobbing around in the water over there, waiting for us to return. In this gorgeous little restaurant, and they handed us a platter of Dalmatian meat, a pasty, some gorgeous little crusty breads, and Aperol spritz. With a view like this, what's not to love? A little cherry tomato. Oh, this bread's hot. That is so fresh.
Fresh from the oven. Nice.
Beautiful. Delicious. Like you. One thing I will say about Croatia, they love some steps. And I live in London.
On our waiter's recommendation, we bypass the obvious route up Marjan Hill and instead continue along the peninsula to a vantage point that makes you feel like you've left Split far behind. It's the kind of local knowledge that transforms a good day of exploration into a great one. The difference between seeing what everybody else sees and discovering something that feels like it belongs just to you.
We are continuing up the hill. We've left the steps behind. And now I've given my bag to Lemar. And this is whence we came. You can see Split down in the background.
The path takes us away from the dense urban centre through increasingly green surroundings until we reach a spot where the views open up to reveal the beautiful Adriatic. A completely different perspective from what you can see when you're in town.
On the recommendation of our waiter, the restaurant we just went to, where we had that gorgeous Dalmatian platter, we were going to go to a different viewpoint, and he said, no, I've got a locals viewpoint for you where you can get a better view. And he sent us to this spot. I'll put the link on the map, Google Maps, I'll pop it in the description down below. But you see Majestic out there in the distance. And I have to say, I have absolutely adored the last 9 days that we have been on board her. We have been all across the Mediterranean on an Odyssey, and you've seen past episodes. It's drawing to a close, which is sad. I don't want to get off the ship, and we're looking for any way to stow away, but we know we can't. Tonight we're going to thoroughly enjoy one gorgeous last evening on the Majestic. Until then, we're going to hike all the way back. There will be a cocktail with my name on it once we get poolside.
These moments of elevation, both literal and figurative, provide context that helps you understand a place rather than just see it. They're worth the extra steps, worth the sweat, worth the time that could have been spent ticking off more attractions.
And here we have a Lemar in the wild, free to go about his day. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, Lemar tried to skip.
Heading back towards the ship, we happen across a market on the harbour front. One of those serendipitous discoveries that often become highlights, set in a picturesque location where the breeze carries both sea salt and the scent of local products. It's the kind of place where browsing becomes a pleasure rather than a chore. My weakness for candles lead us to Mila's store, where locally made products capture scents that will later trigger memories of this day in Split. There's something appealing about bringing home something functional rather than merely decorative. A candle that will literally burn with the essence of a place I visited.
Just here in Split. That's the way to go. That's the problem. No, and I've got some lovely little soy candles. So if you're ever in Split, go down and see Mila. She's got some great scents for you. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Thank you.
It has been a gloriously hot day. So on the way back to the ship, Lemar, on the way back to the ship, what did we get? Ice cream! Ice cream! Yeah.
The walk back to the ship completes our circuit of Split, from harbour to ancient palace to local neighbourhoods and back again. By now the afternoon heat has reached its peak, making the shadow cast by Majestic feel like a blessing. There's always a moment of transitioning when returning to the ship. A mental shift from explorer back to passenger. The controlled environment of a cruise ship, which might have felt limiting after a week and a bit at sea, suddenly seems welcoming after hours in the Croatian sun. Air conditioning, cold drinks, the familiar layout of our floating home for the past week and a bit, all take on renewed appeal. Back in our suite, reality intrudes in the form of packing, that melancholy task that signals the end of any good journey. The expression on my face says everything about how I feel about folding clothes and fitting souvenirs into increasingly uncooperative luggage. There's a real sadness to placing suitcases outside your door on the final night of a cruise. A concrete acknowledgement that tomorrow you'll be back in the real world, where beds don't make themselves and dinner doesn't magically appear at the appointed hour. But dwelling on endings is the enemy of enjoying what remains. So we push through the packing as quickly as possible. Our Mediterranean Odyssey isn't quite over yet, and we're determined to make the most of our final evening on board.
As we say goodbye to Split, I will be back again one day. We are off to enjoy our last night on this cruise.
For our last dinner aboard Majestic Princess, we returned to the scene of previous indulgence, the Crown Grill. One final porterhouse with all the trimmings seems the appropriate way to conclude a week of culinary excess. There's a comfort about ending where we've already enjoyed ourselves, rather than gambling on a new experience. It is the Crown Grill after all. The evening evolves into a floating farewell tour, hopping between bars, raising glasses with fellow passengers who began as strangers and now feel like friends. It's one of the curious aspects of cruise travel, the accelerated intimacy that develops you when you share meals, excursions, and stories with people you might never have met otherwise. Next time, wanderers, on our Mediterranean Odyssey, Venice, the floating city that defies both logic and time. After bidding farewell to Majestic, we'll hop a train for an adventure through the countryside and into a maze of canals and bridges and centuries of history. From the grandeur of St. Mark's Square to hidden bakeries serving the perfect cicchetti and wine, we'll discover why Venice remains the most improbable city. No cars, no roads, just water, stone, and endless possibility. The adventure continues in Venice, where getting lost isn't just likely, it's essential.